Warning, this program may contain visuals that might offend sensitive viewers. Parental guidance is advised.
Unemployment has risen to 33.5% in the country. According to the latest report by Statistics South Africa, this means that more people are becoming poorer and going to bed hungry.
We're struggling, but we make the best we can out of the situation we are in.
Some of them, yeah, they take us as their role models. Seeing us every day in the streets, walking around. For them, they feel like, yeah, they want to live like us, not knowing what do we do to live sometimes like this.
Toiletries.
Why doesn't kills make it stronger?
Makes it stronger.
No, makes it stronger.
Sending food to the bin shouldn't be happening when people are going hungry.
Work is the thing we need, nothing else but work.
Kimberley, the capital city of the Northern Cape province. The Big Hole is one of the most visited attractions in the province. It is the largest hand-dug excavation in the world. The city became well known in the late 1800s during the famed Diamond Rush days, when the city of diamonds became a bright and prosperous place to live in. Kimberley is often called the diamond capital of the world, but for most, there is no glitter and glamour. The only rush is to the rubbish bags to try and salvage something to eat. The effects of the high unemployment rate are poverty and hunger. This sad reality has forced a group of young people in Khalishiwe Township in Kimberley to subsist on expired food. Many of them do not have identity documents and cannot apply for work or the 350 social relief grant. They represent a fraction of the South Africans suffering food insecurity and who are forced to take extreme measures. It's a bitterly cold morning, and we've been following the group, moving from one suburban street to the next, picking through refuse bags lined up outside people's homes. This they do every single day for hours. They are looking for food to eat, as well as plastic and glass bottles and other recyclables to sell. They have to get to the bags before the refuse truck does. Day to day, they survive by feeding off the scraps of the more fortunate.
We have been doing this for 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, to avoid crimes. You see, my sister, and I benefit a lot of things here, you see. Yeah.
Hey,
that is why that each and every day I wake up 4 o'clock. You see, my sister, yeah, go to herself for myself. Me and I and myself.
These young people sort out these bags of miscellaneous trash by hand. There's a bit of everything in each bag. The bottles and cans are sold to scrapyards for 10 rands a kilogram. They separate the food from the bags. They eat while working and saving some for their families back home. No food item goes to waste.
So what do you do with milk when it's expired like this?
We do it mostly through sugar inside.
Inside the milk?
Yeah, then we eat with bread or with porridge. Yeah.
So if something has reached its sell-by date, like this milk, you say you add sugar inside the milk?
Yeah. The sourness, you mustn't feel that sourness, you see? That must be sweet.
After almost 4 hours of going through trash looking for food, we followed the group home. There, they met up with others who had also gone to other parts of the city.
Okay, when we just take that, we see every piece of something like bread, buns, is just like, just to,
Are you not worried about it? It's contaminated, maybe it's rotten. Are you not concerned about that?
we are concerned of that, but
Even toiletries.
why doesn't kills make it stronger?
Makes it strong.
No, makes it stronger.
That's a lame excuse. Listen, if the thing is not fine, you leave it.
You leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it.
They are pleased with their finds.
I got these things. The fact is that, even that phone, like, we get those things.
You do?
Yes, bigger than that and much.
According to the Consumer Goods Council of South Africa, 10.3 million tons of food is wasted every year in South Africa. This is a staggering figure, and for most of us who throw food out because to us it is garbage, but to some it is a meal. It is their survival. Matlo Sitati explains the dangers of eating food that's salvaged from the bin.
It's not even to a point of the food is rotten, you can see it. It's the aspect of the microorganism side of it, the invisible that could happen on a product. And you consume it unknowingly, and then it affects you. It will simply affect the health side of things now, because we're talking about, either your microorganisms or the quality aspect. There could be physical things that might have affected that, bottles or something that could risk your health. So all of those we need to consider. If you're not getting food from a reputable area, obviously you need to be concerned.
24-year-old Tabang says he had to drop out of school in grade 10 because of financial reasons. He has been scavenging for food for almost 6 years.
I'm grateful for the things we get there. It's the things that made us survive in this area. Yeah, not only sustaining for me, but for a lot of even the small children in the streets. We also give them some of the food we get and things we get.
So who do you stay with?
I stay with my girlfriend.
Does she also eat with you?
She eats from those. We eat from the same. She eats what I eat. I eat what she eats.
Are you not worried that you might get sick one day? You might eat something bad?
We won't get sick because our stomachs are already used to this. We just grow bigger and stronger, you see, sister. Yeah, that's what makes us live.
I'm say maybe a kilo is maybe 10 rands.
A kilo is 10 rands?
Yeah.
Okay.
A kilo is like, but we are big food.
What is your reaction to seeing them eat stuff that they got from rubbish bins?
First and foremost, the action that got them there. That's the main thing that as a country we need to, it's right in our face. For someone to settle to going and dig in a bin of someone that has thrown things, not only because we've got two aspects. There's the waste reclaimers that reclaim valuable material from a packaging perspective. Good and well, let's keep doing that. But then for someone to be that destitute to get to a point where they salvage even food in an unsafe environment. A bin is somewhere where we go and throw things out. So for someone to get to that level, it tells us that we've got a challenge as a country. We need that culture shift. Rather, let's package the food products in a nice container. On the day that we know that we are going to be taking out the bin, let's salvage them. Let's provide dignity to the people that might get the food products. Otherwise, if it is in a bin, it means you found it unsafe. When I look at the video, some of the food products are still, they look okay. If only they were packaged in a correct manner, because people are gonna pass by. I'm sure we see them in the streets, So I always go back to the basics on the ground. What can I do to change the situation?
Tabang says growing up in such conditions isn't good for any child.
The children in these places, we are corrupted, sister. Me as well, I'll involve myself. I'm corrupted because of this jobless situation that we are going through, anger and everything.
He hopes for a better future for everyone in the community.
Children must not go this pace that we are going. They must at least one day shine, have big houses, stay in the suburbs. At least this place could be turned like, you see, a historical suburb, man. Yeah, I want to see it one day being grown bigger. At least everyone having something to eat on the table and such.
So you don't want the younger generation coming after you to do the same stuff?
I would hate to see that, sister. I don't want them to do such things. And I try by all means to tell them that these things that we are doing ain't right. They don't have, some of them, yeah, they take us as their role models. Seeing us every day in the streets, walking around. For them, they feel like, yeah, they want to live like us, not knowing what do we do to live sometimes like this, you see, sister. So what I would like to tell to the children is to go to school, finish school, go to varsity at least or college, apply for a job, and have a better future.
According to the University of Pretoria, 1 in 6 households struggle to get enough food every day, and 1 in 4 are hungry most of the year. More than half of the population live below the poverty line. Khalishiwe is one of the poorest neighborhoods in the Northern Cape. A large number of people depend on begging to put food on the table. Businesses in Buckley Road and Kimberley CBD have been trying to make a difference for decades. They have united and have been giving food, money, and soup to the less fortunate every Friday. The queues start from 6 a.m. Entire families, young and old, women with children on their backs, queue outside the sprinting and stationery shop where each person is given 2 rands.
It makes a significant impact on the lives of the needy. You know, we open at 7 on a Friday morning. The Northern Cape winters are very cold, and you can see the depth of the poverty that people can come and queue here on a very cold, even sub-zero temperatures, just for an amount, and I'm just stating the amount just to demonstrate the need, that 2 rand or that 5 rand that they get. They stand here in queues until we open, and my ladies has been at it for the last 20-odd years that we do. We have noticed quite a significant growth in the amount of young people coming for the handout, if one could call it that, or just the charity. And this says to us that, you know, the unemployment rate in the province is really getting to our youngsters.
From there, they move to a butchery where they are given a packet of bones and bread.
Giving us bread to eat every Friday, giving us the little they have every Friday, but we haven't been seeing anything from the government. While we voted, we're giving things to the government. As such, we don't get served. But we say thank you to those who see the need to serve within the community. Our old people are here as well. We get served with our mothers. What is that? Work is the thing we need, nothing else but work.
53-year-old Ndimangele Nqaku has been going to town every Friday, hopping from one place to the next, trying to get what she can to feed herself and her family. 15 years ago, she was forced to put her pride aside and join others from her community who were also struggling with food insecurity and begging for food in town. She makes the most of her difficult living conditions and lack of resources.
Siphumana ke isonkanyana, amathambonyana, ikhabe njalo amazambane, isele njalo. Esifumanayo. Ichips, ibiscuit, isupu, and then isepanyana. So on isepanyana bakusipaze kuhambela abantwana so. 10 cent so on 10 cent to 2 bob 50 cent rand.
She says the food she gets every Friday is able to sustain her family.
Ngikasebenzela singatyangala. Ngathi ucela imakhelwane akananto ivele nayo uyambona masibuya sapha. So lonto njenzi bandiphakame nami before ilane abantu baya kuyo. Bazifumana ukudla. Ngixesha ndiyenza izigropho ngandibiza ndiyokuyeze liwatching just like that.
Uyafisa ukuthi mhlambe one day kuzoba right ukuthi uyeke ukuya etown uyocela ukudla?
Andikholwa because why sendiqhelile. Yafisa mare wena sendiqhelile yabona lawe. Yeah.
Her 28-year-old son, Vuyo, was arrested at the age of 20 and spent 8 years behind bars. He was only released last year and hasn't been able to find employment. He picks up metal, bottles and cans and sells at the local scrapyard.
Kodwa ilona lesiqala ukuthi bantu baphuma abaphandle ne lisiyeke zonke izinto eqala uphila impilo eright ngikwazi uncedisa umama naye ngoba ngokukhulisa abantwana bami. Nezi scrap sisicholayo so noko siyazama nazo ukuthi sifake ipapa apha endlini. Nomama wami naye ngapha kwecala lakhe ndiyabulela ukuthi bana lento angalahleli izandla ngento ndazenzayo ezahlulayo ukuthi bana abekhoyo sometimes ba naxa nimdingayo. Lonto kodwa ngimthanda ngakho mama.
He says he also goes with his mom to town on Fridays.
Sometimes xa ihleliso apha endlini abona singenanto apha endlini. Wasicela ukuthi balane kunceda ntoni ukuhlala nje apha abona abantwana bakhe bayasokola. Ilonto athathele ujeni ukuthi bana yapha etown ahambe ecela so ukuthi bana ilanga lingatshoni lidlule ukuthi bana sihlale sityile apha endlini singabantwana bakhe. So nami ndasicela ukuthi bana nema kutheni mnandi ifumana inhloni ukuthi bantu yami lincela kutheni ngamjoyini umama kuba uthola into ezinzima like amakhaphetshu ezonto nomna ndimi umfana apha endlini funeke ndimjoyine sometimes ukuthi bandimncede ngento ezinzima. Sometimes uyasifumana kodwa akakwazi ukuzibamba banzinzima ukuthi banasisa apha endlini. Ilonto ndimjoyinayo ukuthi banxa kukho into ezinzima apha phambili imncedise ukuzibamba kwazi ukuthi bana sidle silale sityile apha endlini.
So how does it make you feel as umntanakhe to see her go to town ayocela ukudla and knowing that there's nothing that you can do because now awusebenzi?
Mina ndivitsa kabuhlungu into enjalo ukuthi bana akho mzalo ozala umntana abone ukuthi bana umntanakhe akho nto ningakwazi uyenza ukwazi ukuncedisa umama. Nami ndawisha ukuthi bana emini ibe khona ukuthi bana ndike nami ndisithola umsebenzi nami ndikwazi umenzela naye usolanga siyaphila kanje emhlabeni.
So uyafisa ukuthi mhlambe one day uzokwazi ukuthola umsebenzi ukuthi umama ayeke ukuhamba aye town?
Into engayibulelela engajabula ukuthi bana ingayenzeka layo ukuthi bana one day nami kwazi ukuncedisa umama naye ake aphumule amamela iminyaka akakhule kahle nami ndike ndimenzele naye njengandenzele nami apha empilweni. Ndiyafisa ukuba kube njalo dala.
The 43-year-old Carl April says he has been begging for food for almost 20 years. He says being forced to beg and live like this erodes their dignity as a community, but they have no alternative.
We call it makupong. We go ask like beggars.
So you've given it a name, makupong?
Yeah, makupong. We're asking, not go and take things. We ask you, if you don't have, you don't have. If you have, you give. But it does grate us.
He says he worries about the youngsters in his community who are dropping out of school.
We do this just to get something. But we're not proud of it. But most of these young ones, they do it just to get money to support their habits. Some of us do it to put something on the table, to start our living. We have children. The little money we get is to support our children. But nowadays, when you go to Makopongs, it's most of the young ones. Children that should be in school, going to Makopongs, are begging.
He says he had hopes of a better future for himself and that his life hasn't in the slightest turned out how he wanted it to.
It saddens me, man, because I thought when I started to vote, my life is gonna be better. But it's degrading because you try your best, but there's no jobs. We're struggling, but we make the best we can out of the situation we are in.
Carl says unemployment has contributed to the high crime rate in Khalishiwe.
Crime is high here. Most of the young ones in this area went to crime. They're robbing the people of the motorbikes, the deliveries. They rob them their phones, the money. Sometimes they even hurt them. That's why crime is high here. Even the security guards, they must have a group to go to work because they're afraid the young ones are going to rob them. Because the young ones are early in the morning awake because of these things they are using, these drugs like tuck.
They don't sleep.
They don't sleep. If they use tuck, they don't sleep.
While millions of South Africans go to bed hungry, tons of cooked food gets thrown away daily. The CGCSA approached big retailers in the country to voluntarily donate unsold food at the close of business, but are reluctant to donate food for fear of being held liable under the Consumer Protection Act should the food cause a consumer harm.
That person has got the right to then follow the full value chain and say, someone has done wrong. So now you have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Everyone, it doesn't matter if you've got documents that you have given to the next person and to the next person. The consumer or the end user can simply say, I got this food product and someone needs to be held liable. So all of that liability rule has shifted the culture, and we've done a survey to check why are you not even joining the voluntary agreement that we've put together. They said there's strict liability. We will deal with the waste the way we know how. So we are not going to divulge where we are donating, how much waste we are producing, and that has disrupted a whole lot of things. Take, for example, a restaurant. Simply food that can be given to the workers there. Such activities are no longer happening. So you'd ask yourself, where does that food go? And also from a food safety aspect, there's challenges in terms of when food has been prepared in a hotel or in a restaurant. There's rules in terms of the 2-hour rule, if you can put it down, let's say it's a buffet. Beyond that, some food is still safe to consume if you think of your own kitchen.
Yes.
We can put mechanisms in place to say a food bank can come quickly on call. They do that in conferences and get the food and take it from the hotel if they couldn't sell in that day. But companies are shying away due to that strict liability that has been put in place.
And how do you personally feel about that?
It's taking away that human element of the association we have with food. Sending food to the bin shouldn't be happening when people are going hungry.
She says people need to share food if it's still edible.
And you remind me of the aspect we have. Our weddings, our funerals, there's a lot of food that we prepare there. And every time I see in a household, there's already a hole that has been dug for when food is not consumed. That culture, South Africans, we need to look at, because there's possibly an NGO close by, which we can salvage the food. If it is not used, let's put it in our mobile containers. If we do not consume the food as quickly as possible, as it is safe to do so, let's share the food. Let's not take it to the bin or the hole that we always dig in our households.
The hardest endings are the uncertain ones. Most people in Khalishiwe are stuck in perpetual limbo. Every time we eat, we need to remind ourselves of how fortunate we are to even have food. Food insecurity in South Africa is a real problem that forces people to go through extreme measures to try and make ends meet. These young people have dreams that may seem out of reach right now. Hopefully, one day they won't need to go through our trash to try and salvage something to eat for themselves and their families.